Hey everybody, this is Dr. Jimmy Sanderson. I'll be your instructor for our social media course, which is being cross-listed across several different sections. So whether you're in COM, SBS, STC, or CMN, definitely looking forward to our class, and it's great to have you with us. So um, just by way of introduction, in our first unit here, we're kind of just going to lay the groundwork for the growth of social media and why companies and organizations need to be using social media. So for many of you, it's not probably surprising that social media has become a huge force in our society. So if you think about just, for instance, the number of users on Facebook, their last report was over 1 billion people access Facebook every day. And so, as we've seen a lot of people migrate to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and Pinterest and YouTube, organizations have figured out that they need to be on these platforms to reach audiences because that's a huge group of people that you can reach. And, social media is so much different than traditional media in the sense that there's the opportunity for dialogue, two-way interaction, where we didn't have that. With traditional media. I mean, if you read a ad from, say, Coca-Cola in a magazine, you didn't really engage them back. I mean, you could have written a letter to them and so forth, but the opportunities to engage organizations are huge, and so social media really has become a very strategic organizational tool. Now, that being said, this is what we'll talk about in the materials in chapter one. There's a lot of organizations that struggle with social media, and in some instances, that's you could say it's not really their fault. So, for instance, you might have a nonprofit organization that has very limited resources. They don't have the staffing to bring on a dedicated social media team or manager, like say, Disney would. Um, and people in those organizations are wearing multiple hats and doing different things. So, for some organizations, there's some inherent structural challenges to it. But for others, it's just, there's a variety of reasons. One is, they have negative views of social media, which on one hand is understandable. If you think about some of the ways in which, we see people using social media and seeing people post on social media, it can give you a negative perception of social media. But one of the challenges when we try to then help businesses use social media is that we have to understand that the way businesses use it is entirely different from the way the average user or the average teen uses it. So just because people post mundane content, on Snapchat, let's say, that doesn't mean that's what organizations are going to do. So it's a completely different, kind of dynamic there. And for me personally, I think social media is a great relational tool. It's a great way to build relationships and network. I myself have built a lot of great relationships, in particular via Twitter. So, which is all to say that there's a big need for organizations to use social media and use social media strategically. And so for someone who knows how to use social media strategically, there's a lot of really great opportunities, whether that's in a career like public relations or whether that's in corporate communications or even, a lot of organizations now have dedicated social media staff, and then even consulting. So, you might want to be someone who works with companies and helps them develop social media strategy. And that, something personally I've done, and it's a really rewarding experience. So, in Unit 1, we're just going to kind of get an overview of the rise of social media, why and how it's growing, the ways in which organizations are using it. The Vaynerchuk book kind of talks about some of the challenges and issues that organizations have when they use social media, or I should say, when they're not using it strategically. And just one offhand, real quick, that comes to mind is organizations using social media like it's a magazine or the radio or the newspaper. They use it in a way that is not, ironically, social. They tend to just use it in a one-way format and kind of don't diversify their content. They just throw ads in people's faces, and so really understanding, kind of the ways in which social media can be effective as a marketing tool, as a relational tool. Something that we'll kind of cover in Unit 1. We'll also talk about engaging the audience and feedback. That's another mistake that a lot of organizations make is people say things back to them and they don't respond. And ironically enough, that's even positive things. So, I've worked with companies where people are saying really good things about them on social media, and they don't do anything back. They don't tell the person thank you. They don't like their Facebook post or whatever. So, it's those kind of things that really kind of are just a piece of the picture when it comes to social media strategy for organizations, which will be our topic during this semester. So, hopefully after this semester walks away, you'll have a better understanding of the strategic application of social media. We're also later in the semester going to talk about some ethical issues kind of internally to organizations, things like, social media monitoring and employees and applicants and that sort of thing. But in Unit 1, you'll need to do a couple things. Um, You'll need to, well, first of all, start by reading the syllabus and the course calendar and letting me know if you have any questions. You need to read Chapter 1 in the Vaynerchuk book. There's some other readings in the Unit 1 folder on Blackboard. There's a lecture on there as well, and then you'll need to complete the first discussion forum with your initial post being due by Thursday and your 2 response posts being due by Sunday. So really excited to get our course underway. Looking forward to a lot of great, robust conversations on social media during the course of the semester. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.